What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for stopping in. A couple of projects going on in the Speed Culture Studios house today. Number one is if you saw in a recent video where I was doing a little garage organization, looking good by the way, I had to repair a little hole upstairs in the bathroom. I'm gonna finish that today, but that's not the main point of the video. One of the projects I've been wanting to tackle for a long time now, and you guys have actually commented on it, which kind of made me a little bit more motivated to actually do it, is my workbench. So I have had this bench for several years, geez, probably like almost 7 or 8 years now. Crazy, can't believe it. And it's just a regular kind of fold up bench that you could get at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. And I got this several years ago when I was working on motorcycles and stuff with my brother in Texas. And to make it look a bit cooler, I just took some cool, pictures out of magazines, pictures of some of our bikes and projects that we were working on. This one in particular is my Cafe Racer. That was at a car show. My brother's little bobber that we kind of had a barn find and fixed that up. My old Mustang, some pictures at the track, another picture of a Mustang of mine. So, just some cool stickers I've accumulated over the years. And then I put some polyurethane on it to seal it and make it sort of a durable workbench. And it has taken some abuse over the years, cut marks and drill holes and all sorts of stuff. So what I wanted to do was just get it shining again. So I've actually already sanded it down with 220 grit sandpaper just to give it a little bit of teeth. A little bit hazy now, obviously because of the sanding. And I had some overspray, so I wanted to get that off and clean it up. But I'm gonna run some mineral spirits over it now, and we'll kind of get an idea of what it's gonna look like with the poly back on it. And it should look really sweet. Just like prepping anything for paint, you wanna make sure any of the contaminants are wiped away and cleaned off. And look at how nice that looks with just a little bit of mineral spirits. This has dust on it, and also, dust from sanding the surface. So I'm gonna make sure this is nice and clean, probably go over it a couple of times with the mineral spirits. This will give us an idea of what it's gonna look like with the poly on it. God, this is sick. And then we'll come back with some polyurethane, and we're just gonna use some Minwax fast drying poly. All right, it is nice and clean now, but gosh, this thing looks sick already. It'll get hazy again as it dries, obviously, but this is one of my favorite pictures. I don't know, that was in a biker magazine a while ago. I thought it was really funny. Bell helmets rule. Anyway, gonna let this dry for a second. I'm gonna mix the poly up while I wait, and then we'll coat it. This thing's gonna look badass, brand new. If you guys got any stickers or anything, I have a P.O. box listed in some of my videos. Go ahead, feel free, send them. If you have a company or anything like that you want represented. Obviously, you guys see this workbench in pretty much damn near every single video I do. So if you want to be featured, send them to me. Motographics is one of them. Heavy Pedal I've worked with in the past with merchandise. Obviously, Soho Motorsports, AFE, Megan Racing, blah, blah, blah. Lots of them. So not only cool pictures, but some repping as well. You're just gonna brush this on with a foam brush. It's no big deal. You can use a natural bristle brush. What I really wanted to do was use that bar top, countertop poker table, kind of really thick, shiny coating. It's like the equivalent of 70 layers of this stuff, which is pretty awesome. I think I did like 6 or 8 on here the first time, and it lasted a long time. But that really thick coating you see on really cool bars, that's what I wanted to do. But one can was like almost $30, and it was only enough to do half the bench. And I'm not gonna spend $60 to coat this thing when it's just gonna get tore up. So, $11 for a little bit of Minwax, few coats. I'll probably do 4 or 5 coats on top of this. It'll last another 10 years. So here we go. Probably could just pour it out, but actually I think I might just pour it out. Why not? Look at that, that's cool. Get the edge nice. It's neglected, I don't really care if it runs down a little bit. It's amazing how shiny it makes it, like, immediately. All right, just the first coat of the poly put on. There's a couple little bubbles here and there. It's bubbling up a little bit. I might not have had it totally clean, and it's super rough, right? So that was, somewhat expected. But it doesn't matter because we'll sand them all out between the second coat. You gotta let this dry for a certain period of time. Sand it down again with some 220 and then hit it again. We'll just keep doing that. And it's a long process, but like I said, this lasted 7 or 8 years already. And 3 moves, each time across the country. So it's worth taking a little bit of time and doing it. And, as I add more stickers to it or overlay it or whatever I do eventually down the legs or who knows, I'll just continue to seal them in. So it's going to look awesome. Yeah, I'll sand it down after it dries a bit here, put another couple of coats on. I'll show you guys the finished product. Well, this is what happens when you try to rush and you drop a whole quart of polyurethane on your garage floor. Not to mention I ruined about $150 worth of clothes. Despite my disaster with the dumping of the polyurethane everywhere, this turned out great. This is just 3 coats on top of that rough old bench, and it's pretty nice and smooth. It has kind of a worn, natural antique look, which I really like. It's really, really smooth, actually. I love it. Another decade, here we come. Added the Akibono decal on there, right on the Sons of Anarchy advertisement. Last touch, nice. I know I said I was done with these calipers in the last video, but we got one final little touch we need to do to finish up. We of course are going to add the little Akibono decal. Bing. I only get one shot at this, so good luck, everyone. Very small, so you really have to be careful. Be good enough. Shoot, it's like a millimeter off to the right. It's gonna drive me nuts, I know it, but sick. Would have liked it a little lower too, but we'll take it. Sharp. All right, caliper number 2. I think this one is better. Boom! I highly recommend the Speed Culture decals for the fronts. You can get those for $5 for a set of the large ones. And they look sick. Let's get them all out, shall we? Yes. Yes, indeed. Guys, it's definitely a good idea to run some clear over top of your freshly painted calipers as well as the decals. It'll just help protect them even further. However, rattle can clear almost like a polyurethane tends to yellow over time, especially if your car spends a lot of time outside. That's not really necessarily a concern of mine, nor do I really have a concern about using a clear per se. The reason that I'm not going to spray the clear is because I change things up. And there's a very good chance that I'll eventually change the color of the calipers again, being able to peel the decals off with a little heat. is nice. It makes it a much easier change, and then all you have to do is scuff up the paint and spray them. You don't have to worry about sanding through the clear to get the decals off and then redoing everything. So that's why I am going to just leave the decals right on top of the final coat of paint and call it a day. So they're very durable. Motographics makes really good quality stuff. They use quality materials, so I'm not concerned about them not holding up to the weather. But you know, I'll keep you guys posted as we get these calipers installed, and you know, if I see any wear and tear, I'll be sure to let you know. But other than that, calipers finally done. Rotor should be here tomorrow. Pads, I've finally decided what pads I'm going to go with. So those will be ordered here shortly. And wheels is the topic at hand. We need to get some wheels ASAP. It's serving its purpose for now. Hopefully the next house will have a sort of dedicated shop. Looking forward to that. Who knows when that'll be, but I'll be sure to bring you along. Really liked these wheels actually, and the company was super supportive from the very beginning of the channel, so I was definitely happy to represent them and help promote the company. And they fit really well, and they look pretty tough on this car with this kind of meaty tire setup. But I'm definitely ready for something a little different. I'm so drawn to black wheels, and they look so good on this car. It's really tough to go in a different direction. But the one thing I don't want to say struggling, but the one thing that I really am trying to pay attention to is getting the right fitment, but also being able to clear the big brakes. And obviously, if I don't go with one of the, you know, typical 3 or 4 or 5 wheels that this, you know, Q50 community generally gravitates toward, it's pretty tough to find something custom, because it doesn't really matter if the size and offset is, you know, if the overall specifications of the wheel match somebody else's wheel that fits the big brakes. Depending on the manufacturer, it might not clear. So that's one of the things that I'm having to really think about. A plus 35 offset on a 9.5-inch wheel was pretty tight. I had to use I probably could have gotten away with a 3mm spacer to clear the small brakes. Then I see other guys running 19 by 9.5-inch wheels with a plus 35 or a plus 30, and they clear the big brakes no problem. But even at a plus 30, these don't clear because I have a 5mm spacer on there, which makes them essentially a plus 30 in terms of the hub location, and they wouldn't clear. So knowing that a 9.5-inch wheel with 30 plus 35 offset fits the fenders, the wheel wells nicely, almost flush with my size tire, and I'm not buying new tires, I really have to think about those same specs in the wheels that I choose and whether or not they're going to clear the brakes. And do I go with a more aggressive offset and risk having poke, which I don't like? I want to go low with the BC coilovers, but not a whole lot lower than what I am right now. I don't want to run a bunch of negative camber. I can't remember what my alignment specs were. I have a little bit of negative camber, but I'm not sure it's a full degree or not. But I really don't. A little bit's not going to hurt, because obviously the car's set up for mountain runs and hopefully autocross next year. So a little bit of camber would help in terms of handling, but I don't want to go crazy. And I don't want to go crazy low just to clear my tires. So it's a bit of a struggle. I've got my eye on a set of wheels that are in stock, which is nice. They're the right price point. Again, that's something I don't want to go crazy on either, because who knows what's going to happen with the channel and with the car. And I don't want to dump a bunch of cash into wheels just so I can clear big brakes when I pick up another project car that might be a little more expensive. And of course, I'm going to want to start modifying that right away. So my brain is going real crazy. And of course, if you don't spend a bunch of money on wheels, you got a bunch of people commenting on your YouTube videos saying you bought fake wheels or reps or whatever else, and you always got to worry about the negatives. And you know what? It really shouldn't matter. If you like the wheels, go for it. If they fit your budget, go for it. Don't let anybody deter you or hurt your feelings. My feelings don't get hurt. And if you follow along on Instagram, you see I posted something or shared something from Gary Vee the other day that if someone is watching your content, if someone is coming to your page or Instagram, YouTube, whatever the case may be, just to leave a negative comment or a thumbs down, that's a problem with them and not you, right? So just let's as Eli says on Ignition Tube, let's spread some positivity. I'm not going to hijack his phrase, but that's the truth. Just leave people alone, right? And if you don't have anything positive to say, I don't mean to turn this into a rant, but what kind of person are you, or how do you feel inside of yourself if you go and you watch somebody's entire video, or you go, scroll through people's Instagram just to leave negative comments? I mean, you got a problem, dude. You gotta work that out with yourself. So I don't even know what the hell we were talking about, but my brain is working in crazy ways. How much money should I spend? What should I budget for? What kind of car am I going to bring on the channel? I know I've been talking about this for months, and I just really regret actually selling the 335. But there's just a lot of things going on. I want to do the Q50 justice, and I want to be able to provide good content for you guys. So the big brake upgrade is something that a lot of people have been wanting to see since I got this car, and it's sort of been on the list of things to do, not necessarily priority, but then I found the deal on the calipers, and I went ahead and purchased them, and then I purchased rotors, and now it's like you got to do it, otherwise it's just stuff sitting on the shelf in here, and parts sitting on the shelf don't do anyone any good. It's just money tied up. So I have to make the video, essentially, is what I'm getting at, and wheels are a necessary part of that, and just pulling the trigger. I don't like to just jump in and spend a bunch of money, because, I have a family, obviously a house. We have house projects going on, as you guys can see. And I'm sort of this, there's times when I get into this analysis paralysis situation where I think about so much, and I contemplate it so much that it prevents me from actually doing it. And then later on, I'll regret not doing it. So I'm feeling like there should be no hex. I don't give a heck, right? I think 2021 should be the year of no hex. Maybe that's how it needs to go. No hex given for Speed Culture Studios. Just order some damn wheels, bro. Stick around, guys. All right, no hex given. I just pulled the trigger. Wheels are on order. Son of a... Makes me sweat a little bit. I hate dropping cash like that. Son of a gun, but the car needs it. I'm not sure. A little bit different than what I was actually expecting to go with, but the deal is right. Timing is right. Stay tuned. Of course, I appreciate you guys watching very, very much, and look forward to getting this thing set up, doing the installation video, both BC Racing coilovers, the wheels, the big brakes. Good stuff coming for the Q50. Stick around, and I think summer's going to be super fun too. I have plans. I've changed my ideas for a channel car, and this actually might surprise you guys too. I've really been thinking hard about going back to a 335. I know, don't flame me too bad. I've looked at 350s, I've looked at 300Zs, I've looked at 370s, I've looked at G35s, G37s, and I'm really just trying to determine what kind of car I want to have in the driveway, what I plan to do with the car, also what type of content is already available on YouTube, and do I just want to be white noise? I don't know. So I've changed directions a little bit, and I've taken some of your guys' ideas and suggestions into consideration. So we'll see what comes. But I'm looking to purchase by May. I'd like to purchase by May because my mom and dad again are coming down to visit, and I think it'd be fun to have a new car for them to do a couple ride-alongs on, especially if it's a pretty cool little car, or maybe even a little bit sketchy. So we'll see. Big plans for the channel. Stick around, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Perfect. Lucky girl.